Give me the best wide receiver groups in the NFL, and I know I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay, so this has been a discussion for a few days now, and I've been looking at stats, looking at the players, and I just don't see how the Cardinals don't have the best wide receiver trio.
So, okay, so are we saying? Of course, we're saying that with DeAndre Hopkins. So,
yes,
I'm gonna kind of unpack this. So, he, in your opinion, makes them the best wide receiver trio in the NFL. Okay. But before DeAndre, like, where did you have them?
Before Hopkins, they were probably middle of the road. I mean, if they weren't, there's nothing like Fitzgerald. He's getting old, so I mean, he lost some of his speed. He still catches everything. So that's the main reason why I like them so much, is he's a big body. He doesn't drop anything. He's a little bit slower, but he's not slow yet. Now, 3-4 years from now, or 2-3 years from now, I'm going to say Cardinals won't be the best. But right now, just with Hopkins, it's just ugly. I mean, you have the two wide receivers that never drop anything, and then you have a quick, shifty third and fourth wide receiver. So,
yeah, I think in a vacuum, I don't disagree with that thought process at all. The thing that I struggle to put them number one, and I am not just saying this because I have to disagree with you, because at the end of the day, I don't have to. Of course, that leaves y'all, the listeners, a lot more interested. But the thing that leaves me wondering if they truly are going to take that quote-unquote next step with Hopkins, getting rid of David Johnson and running with Kenyon Drake, is, can I trust that Kyler Murray is going to go out there and be the stud that everybody wants you to think he is? And truthfully, man, it's just hard for me to believe that he is going to be who people think he is just because of his size. And I hate to be such a kind of running with what a lot of people are saying, but dude, when you're 5'10", 207 pounds, like, I mean, all it takes is Calais Campbell or Myles Garrett or Khalil Mack or Aaron Donald falling on top of you, and you break into a billion pieces. So, man, I don't know, man. And with that atrocious line, I don't know.
But he's so quick. Like, he's like, if he was as long as Lamar Jackson, people would be saying the same thing about him. I mean, it is funny watching him play on Sunday and stuff. He looks so small, and his helmet looks so huge.
There ain't nothing about looks to it. I mean, the dude is. I think I've taken bigger craps than him, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Like, the team started off really bad last year, but at the end of the year, that team was clicking. I mean, he was doing some damage. I'm not saying he was the best quarterback or anything, but give it a couple years, and I think he can be like a Drew Brees 2.0, and just based on the size.
Whoa, really?
He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And the only downside to him is his size.
So, I'm looking at the Cardinals schedule right now, and I did watch that Week 1 game where they tied the Lions. And I will say that Week 1 game, I'd been telling people leading up to that, to the Week 1 season opener, I had said, Kyler Murray, I think he's going to he's just going to get killed in his first game against the Lions. Snacks Harrison's going to fall on top of him, and we actually may witness a murder. But that didn't happen, and if I'm remembering right, I'm going to pull up the box score. If I'm remembering right, I think they were down by 17 points going into the fourth quarter, if I'm remembering right. Let me find it out. So yeah, I mean, they were down 11 points. And then he goes out and puts up 18 in the fourth to put it 24-24 going into overtime. I mean, when that happened, here it is. He, with 47 seconds left, ice water in his veins, threw a 4-yard touchdown pass to Larry Fitzgerald, and then 2-point conversion to Christian Kirk. So, I go back and forth on him. I really do, and I feel like this Cardinals team, and I mean, you could say this for literally any team in the NFL, but they're going to go as far as Kyler Murray takes them. So I don't disagree with the wide receivers themselves. Maybe the top 4 guys in Christian Kirk, Larry Fitzgerald, DeAndre Hopkins, and Andy Isabella being arguably the best wide receiver core in the league. But I don't know how much I trust Kyler in comparison to how much I trust Tom Brady maybe, or how much I trust Drew Brees maybe, or how much I trust. It's really just those two. And I say that, man, and I hate saying this, dude. It like pains me to say it. Like I'm about to cry. I know you can see my pretty face. I am about to cry. I think I'm gonna have to put the Cowboys number one, dude. What do you think?
The Cowboys are all about if Lamb is good. If he's like the next big thing, of course they're going to be the best. But it's not because of Amari Cooper or Michael Gallup. It's going to be because of CeeDee Lamb. And CeeDee Lamb was great in college, but it is college, and he's not the biggest wide receiver. He's not just going to go bully someone. He's going to run past them. He's not as fast as Hill. So I just don't see why everyone's so huge on him whenever I personally don't think Amari Cooper's that great. I think he's probably a top 15, top 20 wide receiver.
Wow.
And then
really?
Michael Gallup is probably top 40 or 50.
Ooh.
Like maybe 40, around 40. I don't think. He's just like, if you see Gallup across the field, you're not like, oh my God, he's about to catch something. You're thinking, oh, okay. Hey, get our third cornerback on him.
He most likely won't catch something because Dakota Prescott will overthrow him by about 755 feet.
Yeah, and that doesn't even take an effect of, like, they do have Dak throwing the ball. He's okay. He's not great. So I just don't see how, like, I have a lot of people saying Cowboys are the best. And I think it's just Cowboy fans. They're all delusional.
Ooh, man, dude, this is our second episode, man. We got to keep viewers in. Golly, knowing that I'm living in Dallas, you're just going below the belt on this. But I'm
not saying that they can't be great. I'm not higher on a single one of those wide receivers. Whenever, like, I'm comparing them to other greats like the Falcons, Julio Jones, or freaking the Bucks, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Now, they're in the top 5, top 10 wide receivers. There's just, if we're talking about one.
So where do you put the Cowboys at? If we're talking and I just say, okay, so give me your top 5. Of course, you're going to have the Cardinals first. Who are you going to put 2? Who are you going to put 3?
Cardinals, I would probably say the Bucks. And
okay, so are we putting the Bucks there with counting Gronk as a tight end, or counting Gronk as a receiver?
We can have Scotty Miller as a third wide receiver. It's A-okay because Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are both number 1 wide receivers. I think both of them are better than, like, Mike Evans is way better than Amari Cooper, and Chris Godwin's quite a bit better than Michael. And then CeeDee Lamb and Scotty Miller, I would give that to CeeDee Lamb. Even that, if I've never seen him, Scotty Miller had like 200 yards last year. So it's not like he's a game changer or anything. Yeah.
No, I don't disagree with that thought at all. So we got the Cardinals, we got the Bucks. Who do you have 3?
See, my third is kind of. I mean, I could put Cowboys in 3, but see, I'm tossed up between the Falcons and the Browns. The Browns have OBJ and Jarvis Landry, and they have Rashard Higgins as a third, which honestly, it almost like, it's hard to say because OBJ was hurt last year, but I wouldn't be mad if you swap the Bucks and the Browns. I mean, OBJ versus Mike Evans, that's a toss-up. I mean, if we're going by OBJ's career. Now, last year, I have to give it to Mike Evans.
So we're going off of his career, which is totally fine. So his best year, if I'm remembering right, came in 2016. Let me pull up the numbers. So 2016, no, it would have been 2015. So he had 96 catches, 1,450 yards, and 13 touchdowns. Okay, but with that, let's go this is how I am. I will always look at who he's sharing the field with, who he's got
I mean, that's
to really fight for targets.
That is fair because
the dude fought with Ruben Randall. I mean, his high point was catching a touchdown pass at LSU from God knows who. Rashad Jennings, who I think may have actually bagged my groceries today at Kroger, and that's about it. So maybe this is a hot take, maybe it's not. I'm not saying this to provide a hot take by any means, but OBJ, in my opinion, what the heck is my opinion worth? Well, clearly it's worth something because you're tuning into it. One of the most overrated players in the NFL.
I can't. That's a toss up. I think he's bigger than just because of that one catch, but he's a very shifty wide receiver, and he can make some pretty crazy plays.
Okay, so I'm going to give you something.
He has hops.
I'm going to hops. This ain't the NBA. It don't matter.
It kind of does.
This is going to put things into perspective. I think for you, and this will put things into perspective for the listeners. When OBJ last had a good year, and we can say last year was good. I mean, last year was a good year.
Let's not bash him too much. And he played. I mean, he had 74 receptions and a little over 1,000 yards last year.
That is not a number one getting paid. I think he's getting paid like $17-18 million a year, if I remember right.
But he played 16 games, and Mike Evans played 13 with 1157 yards, with 10 less catches. So OBJ had 3 more games and 100 less yards, and he was hurt almost the whole season.
So was Evans. Came back from a second straight lacerated spleen.
Yeah, I mean, OBJ played with a broken foot the whole year.
The last year this man, I'm going to put it into perspective. The last year that this man had a good year, like a really good number one caliber year.
I don't want to die on this OBJ hill.
Barack Obama was running for his second term in office. The last time that OBJ had a number one all-pro year. I mean, my goodness! In 2016, I'm going to go look. I think in 2016, who was the champ? The champ was the Patriots, and that was when the Falcons blew like an 84-0 lead with like 3 minutes left. I mean, I can't. When people talk about the Browns, okay, I guess Austin Hooper absolutely helps them, and I could put them top 5. But OBJ and Jarvis Landry, they're there off name alone. Rashard Higgins, I don't even think like his mom knows he still plays in the NFL.
Yeah, he didn't play much last year. He played 10 games, had 4 receptions. But to be fair, that Browns team, pretty much all expectations of them were crumbled, and they were garbage.
Because of Baker.
They did beat the Ravens, though. So
they did beat the Ravens.
That's before the Ravens were the Ravens. I mean, that's before Lamar Jackson knew he could run and pass at the same time.
You know, I think going back to my original thing of what I was saying was, I'm going to have to put the Cowboys there. So Amari Cooper, I've gotten into some pretty good discussions about him before. Amari Cooper, in my opinion, is a top probably 8 wide receiver in the NFL. Top 7, top 8. And then it's not even, I don't put Amari Cooper, I don't put the Cowboys number 1 because of Amari Cooper. I put the Cowboys number 1 because they're number 2 and 3 being extremely, mainly their number 2, Michael Gallup, extremely underrated. Michael Gallup is perennially, I say perennially, he's only been in the league 2 years, but when he was drafted, I believe he was drafted in the 3rd round, correct me if I'm wrong, out of Colorado State. It was kind of a like, oh, sweet, like the Cowboys go out and get a guy, if I remember, I think he's like 6'2", 212.
He's 6'1".
He's 6'1", 198. Okay, so he was a big guy, but he had some numbers helped up because he played in a terrible conference. I can't even think of where Colorado State, what conference they're in. I think it might be the MAC, if I'm remembering right. But no, it wouldn't be the MAC. I can't remember what Colorado State is. But they have the Cowboys number 3 was the best receiver in this year's class, like that, and they got him at 16. I mean that I put the Cowboys number 1 because of their number 3 is why I put them number 1. And I know that I'm banking on CeeDee Lamb going out and being a monster, and I'm banking on Dak Prescott continuing to improve, and I'm banking on Mike McCarthy, his offense, making Dak Prescott look like Aaron Rodgers in 2012, 2013. But I'm going to have to say the Cowboys. And if we go strictly, I'm going to have to do some quick math, and you're going to have to kind of give me your thoughts on this. But if we go off of fantasy points alone, we're looking at, and I know fantasy points isn't everything, but let's be real in today's society. I mean, fantasy football is like life, love, and fantasy football. Like, it's right up there with everything.
I mean,
so
one team that we haven't even talked about that might actually be the best wide receiver group would be the Chiefs. They have Hill, Hardman, and Watkins.